this should work, hopefully. Anyway, hey guys, Goggle-wearing Freak here. I'm outside, I'm outside, and I was randomly thinking, you know what, I should do a random review on something that I bought. Not the scooter, I'll get to that in a minute, but, I want to do a review on these YAK wheels. Now, before you guys assume that these are like the 100 or 110s or whatever, or 125s, these aren't. These are actually 120mm wheels. And I kept seeing online that these wheels are absolutely horrible, and they aren't really compatible for tricks, which I can understand why, because I'm guessing they aren't really capable of doing tricks. I don't know. I don't really do tricks on mine. I just use it to commute from one place to another and bomb down hills and carve down hills, which I'll get to in a second. I kept seeing people, like I said, especially kids and teenagers, talk about these wheels and how good they are and not so good. Mostly they're saying that they suck, or they either say they suck, they're good, they flat spot, or they just aren't really in depth as to what these can do. The wheels, I mean. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a review-ish analysis, synopsis type of thing with these wheels. Since I bought them, and the other wheels that I had, which are in the house, I basically wore those things to the ground. And I'll explain that in a minute, probably, and I'll explain that probably later or after this random review. But anyway, like I said, these are YAK wheels, 120mm wheels, and the duration, or the hardness, is about 88A, which is about similar to Gorilla. It's about not Gorilla Glue. It's similar to the orangutan orange longboard wheels. Yeah, the longboard wheels, 88A orangutan longboard wheels, as well as the marshmallow wheels. I don't know if they're from Sector 9 or not, and other wheels that are basically the same hardness. When it's 88A, I'm seeing that 88A scooter wheels, longboard wheels, they're able to grip the road really well, especially when you are carving and doing power slides, and just want something so you won't feel like you're about to fall off the scooter. I've rode these, as you can kind of tell. I rode these, and they are really good when gripping the road, especially when I do really sharp turns, carves, and bomb down hills while carving. I'll explain how I might explain that later, or I might not. I'm not really sure right now. And there's a lot of cars driving by as I'm doing this. I don't really care. But anyway, like I said, they're really good when hugging the road. They're really good for hugging the road and carving as well. Bit of a warning: if you carve a little bit too much or at a weird angle, these will slip and you will fall off. I had that happen to me 3 times while riding in different areas of my small town and through the city. But yeah, that's because I was riding weird and didn't really have a good support on them. Anyway, on the other note, they are, what is that word? Is it rebound? I think it's rebound. They're able to rebound, kind of, sort of. Rebound. Well, you're able to absorb a lot of you're able to absorb a good amount of not shock. Some guy was just looking at me anyway. You're able to absorb a good amount of absorbency when riding on certain terrain, not not grass like that. You'll fall and break your neck. Not really break your neck, but you'll just fall and hurt yourself. What I'm talking about is you'll be able to go over cracks, bumps. Excuse me. You're able to go over cracks, bumps, uneven pavement or street. And even though it might be a little bit uneven or unsettling, or very uncomfortable with your feet, it does do the job pretty good. It's not going to get rid of most of the, you know, vibrations when you go over things, but it does help when you're going over things and you don't want that to happen, or you don't want to slow down. That's also as well. That these wheels also help with that as well. I've ridden these for about 3 going on 4 months, and what's up? Sorry, I saw someone, I just waved to them. Anyway, I've rode these wheels for about 4 months, and I've ridden them through basically almost every hard-ish terrain around where I live on the streets. I sound weird when I say that. But basically, I've ridden them on uneven terrain, cracks, bumps, stuff like that. And compared to the other wheels that were a part of this scooter, they are better. These wheels are better to ride over those cracks and bumps than the other ones. I keep hearing something behind me. And, yeah, they're able to help absorb. They're able to help absorb that shock that you need, like in case you're going at a really fast pace and you don't know if you'll be able to clear these certain obstacles or uneven gravel, and you're not sure. Again, these wheels are good for that, as well as, like I said, gripping the road. As speaking of that, before I forget, as you can kind of tell. Hello. I keep saying hi to people, but as you can tell from some of the wear on here, compared to the front wheel, I've used this a pretty good amount, as you can see, but at the same time, not as much. But at the same time, not a lot of polyurethane has been stripped away from the wheel. That's another positive thing about having this duration or hardness when it comes to a wheel from a scooter or a longboard or any type that has 88A. It is even though you are carving really hard, carving down roads, carving down wherever, like a park or anywhere, or on the street like I do all the time. Even though you are carving really hard, the polyurethane on here, even though it wears, it doesn't wear completely if you have regular child polyurethane wheels. These will, I'm going to assume these will last for about a good 7-8 months, I believe, because of the polyurethane being so hard, and it's not really going to strip all of it off, so you'll be able to cruise down hills, do tricks. Well, maybe not tricks, because from what I've seen, it dehubs very easily, but you'll be able to bomb down hills and carve really hard on these wheels for a good year or two, from what I believe. And what else? Oh yeah, like I said, from the difference between that wheel and this one, even though there is some of the polyurethane's already off, there's not a huge amount that has been stripped away. And speaking of polyurethane, on these 120, my leg. Like I said, speaking of polyurethane, not gonna use the back because a good amount of it's been kind of taken off, but since this one hasn't been taken off as much since it's the front wheel, the polyurethane, there's a good amount of polyurethane on the YAK 120 wheels that will, like I said, last for a good amount of, like I said, it will last for a good amount of months or years, depending on what you're doing and what you are using these wheels for, like for carving purposes or bombing down hills or just commuting from one place to another. And speaking of carving, like I said, I carve down hills and I carve down and bomb hills where I live, because where I live there is a bunch of hills, and that's not a bad thing. That is an awesome thing to do. This bombing hills is awesome. I've been doing it. I've been kind of, in a way, bombing down hills on different types of like bicycles and different types of scooters, but I wasn't really. Sorry, someone was looking at me. But I wasn't really using. Usually, like with a bike, I would just, not use the brakes or anything and just bomb down the hill. With a scooter, on the other hand, it's a little bit different because you don't really know how to stop on a scooter that much other than using the brakes. And let's face it, brakes on here, when you're going down at a very fast speed, when you're going, like for me, for an example, like 10, 15 miles an hour, I'm going to assume that's how fast I go, I don't really know. The brake on here, when it's like really fast, like, let me see if I can do it. Can't really do it on here, but when this is going down at a fast, this is rotating at a fast pace, and when you put the brake on here, it does not do anything. So I randomly found a method where I, after looking at a whole bunch of longboard videos of them carving, as well as me just moving side to side when going down the hill and just doing that and seeing how it minimizes the speed and just randomly moving side to side and drifting and everything. I saw that carving helps with that. And you will keep looking. Anyway, but yeah, that helps because, like I said, let's face it, bombing down hills is awesome, and and using regular wheels on here, not the best, and using the brake on the scooter that I have, it works when you're just going cruising, but when you're going downhill, it does not work. So you have to kind of figure out ways to do that, but I'll talk about that in another video about how I discovered that later on. But yeah, anyway, like I said, there's a lot of polyurethane on the 120 wheels, which is a good thing, especially if you're, like I said, if you want to bomb hills, or you just want to ride and you don't want to like pay a sum of money for like very expensive wheels. These are the best. And if you have a 125 millimeter scooter like I have, it will fit. The 120s will fit on a scooter that's 125 millimeters. Like I said, there's a 5 millimeter difference. So if you're concerned that these won't fit, it'll fit. As you can see, they'll fit, no problem. And before I forget, since I said that a cheap price, well, not cheap, but these are about $16, $17, maybe $18. Yeah, $17, $18 on eBay. And they are really good wheels for anyone who is interested in trying to find wheels and stuff just for, if you're on a budget and you don't really know what wheels to get on a scooter, since you're seeing that the wheels that you have aren't really holding up as well because of doing tricks or whatever, then I would recommend getting these. wheels. But like I said, these are for, you can put them on a 125mm deck. Not a 120, not a 100 or 110 kind of millimeter deck. You would have to get the 110 millimeter YAK wheels for that. But anyway, I think that might be it for that review, or from what I've kind of experienced since riding the YAK wheels and everything. Because at first I wasn't really going to buy them, but then I decided since I don't do tricks, and the person who gave me these wheels, after I asked them if they had any more wheels, I have another pair just in case. They said these wheels aren't really compatible for tricks. So, you know, if you want these kind of wheels and you aren't really into tricks, and if you just want to bomb hills or do power slides, I recommend these wheels. They're awesome. And, you know, they're good for, well, you already know. And I think that about sums up the review. Yeah, the review. And before I do that, I want to show you what I mean about the, is it the rebound or something? Let me make sure it's in action. Okay. I want to show what I mean about the rebound-ish thing, about like the thing that I was talking about. Plus I saw this on a Braille skateboard when Aaron had cruiser wheels that were softer, and compared them to regular hard skateboard wheels. So yeah, this is what I mean. Let me do a little more. As you can see from the bouncing, yeah, just from the bouncing and everything that you're seeing, it shows that it is able to absorb uneven or hard gravel surfaces. So this again, it shows how hard it is compared to if you have, well, I don't know. I'm just randomly seeing that. So yeah, probably all polyurethane scooter wheels do that, but just wanted to do that real quick since I almost forgot. So yeah, good wheels. If you're on a budget and want to get some, I recommend it. So yeah, I think that about sums up the review. I'm gonna go inside and get something to eat. See you guys around. Have a good day and stay awesome.